Now, before The Hangover, before Step Brothers, there was Old School. Let's go back to 2003. Can you believe this film is 22 years ago? 22 years. Let's talk about it. But before we do, if you could do me a favor, I post content like this about films and TV programs nearly every day. So if you like this content, if you could give me a follow, it would be much appreciated. Now, Old School, we're going to talk about the three characters. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start off with Mitch. So Mitch is the main guy, and he basically catches his missus doing some madness. So as a result, he moves to campus, and then it all goes a bit crazy. Now, if you watch the film, you know what sort of things happen. He's backed up by this guy, Frank the Tank. Oh dear. So I'm just looking at the picture. Do you remember when you got the dart in his neck? Quite a funny scene. I think a lot of that was improvised as well. And then you got Bernard, the sort of brains of the three. I quite like him. He's very quick witted. Like for instance, if you remember when Mitch is drunk and he's giving that speech at the wedding and he starts to go on a mad one, Mitch takes over and manages to sort of rescue the speech. It's a brilliant film, and if you haven't seen Old School, where have you been? This film was 22 years old. I watched it in the cinema. I've got it on DVD. If I see it on TV, I'll watch it. It's a must. Not only that, but you've got some iconic lines. You're my boy, Blues. One of the lines, Blues, the guy on the right, who sadly passes away in the film due to the stress of the situation he was dealing with at the time. Honestly, when you think of the Hangover films and you think of some of these other films, this was the film that started it all. It's got a good cast. Some of the other background characters are really, really funny, and you've seen them in other places. And this is Todd Phillips. If you don't know Todd Phillips, and if you've seen the film, you might remember him. So when Mitch finds out that his missus is doing the madness, Todd Phillips turns up right at the end and he said that he's there for a certain type of gang activity. And if you didn't know, Todd Phillips is the director of the Hangover films, and Todd Phillips is also the director of the Joker films. I haven't seen Joker 2 yet, actually. Now, my last shout out is for these guys here. Now, these are called the Dam Band. Now, they are in Old School. They are at the wedding and they sing Total Eclipse of the Heart, and it's quite a funny version. And you may remember them from the Hangover films. I can't recall if they're in number three, but they're definitely in one and two. They sing Candy Shop in one of the two films. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to them because I really, really like them. And they add a bit of humor to the film, which is always good considering the film is a comedy film. So, guys, Old School. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But can you believe it came out on this day 22 years ago, 2003? Literally, could only say one thing to that: madness.